Hello, let's begin with our today's topic. Today we are going to discuss about plastic, a silent killer. Hidden plastics you didn't know about. It's hard to get away from plastic. The easiest thing to do is to get serious about reducing your use of plastic. But after that, it gets trickier. Recycling is important way to keeping plastics and microplastics out of landfills and waterways, where fish, birds and other creatures are likely to ingest them. However, there are plastics hiding in places you may not suspect. Once you know something contains plastic, you can be more responsible about avoiding it in the first place. These solutions just require a change of habit, but they are easy to do. Why it's important to reduce our use of items that are made with plastic? Plastic is rather tenacious in the environment. It's packed with toxins. You can't really recycle it and it causes harm to wildlife. This is particularly the case with birds, mammals, and sea life. Plastic is everywhere you turn. Though you will find it in many obvious places, you may not realize how often it sneaks into our packaging in ways we don't consider. Most of us want to do what we can to avoid plastic where possible, but this isn't always easy. We are going to discuss about some of these kind of things today. Plastic in table salt, a study by IIT Bombay. You will be surprised to know that most table salts sold in India are likely to contain microplastics from polluted seawater. A first of its kind study for the country by the Indian Institute of Technology Bombay has revealed. A two-member team from the Institute's Center for Environmental Science and Engineering found 626 microplastic particles, of which 63% comprised plastic fragments and 37% plastic fibers, in samples of popular salt brands in India. Researchers said the study has not named individuals brands because microplastic was found as a result of background sea pollution and not during the process of extraction or manufacturing salt. The US National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration classifies microplastics as measuring less than 6 millimeters or the size of a sesame seed. They are generated when large plastic debris accumulated in ocean degrades into tiny fragments. Microfibers or tiny synthetic fibers are mainly released from clothes while washing. Both microplastics and microfibers, national and international studies show, enter our food chain through seafood and now possibly salt. According to a 2014 study published in a public library of science journal, there are more than 5 trillion pieces of plastic floating in the world's oceans. Scientists worldwide have recorded the presence of microplastics in sea salt in various countries. The India-specific study is important because India is the third largest producer of edible and industrial salt after China and the United States. The World Health Organization guidelines recommended an intake of up to 5 grams salt per day for adults. With 63.76 micrograms, that means 0.063 milligrams of microplastics per kilogram of salt as estimated in the IIT Bombay study, the maximum microplastic ingestion for Indians is estimated to be approximately 117 micrograms every year. Governments across the globe don't have any standards on safe threshold for plastic in water and food. According to a 2017 report by Orb Media that said microplastics have been shown to absorb toxic chemicals linked to illnesses and then release them when consumed by fish and mammals. For the IIT Bombay study, 3 packages each of 8 commercial brands of sea salt, of which one brand comprised open sea salt, was obtained from supermarkets and local markets across Mumbai between June and September 2017. All 24 packages sport a different lot numbers and manufacturing dates between 2016 and 2017. Salt from 6 brands were produced in Gujarat. It accounted for about 77% of the country's production, while the remaining two were from Kerala and Maharashtra. An analysis of the samples showed that 80% of the microplastic fibers and fragments were smaller than 2000 micrometers. That means 2 millimeters, and 500 micrometers. That means 0.5 millimeters respectively. Fibers larger than 5 millimeters, though less in number, were also found. At 61%, polyesters were dominant in both microplastic fragments and fibers, followed by polyethylene and polyamide. Of all fragments that were extracted during the study, 74% particles comprised of polyesters including PET, followed by polyethylene, polyamide and polystyrene. As for microfibers, 39% consisted of polyesters, of which 18% was PET, 34% polyamide and 28% polyethylene. PET is widely used in the manufacture of plastic bottles and containers for packing food, mineral water, beverages, personal care products, and flexible films. Polyesters and polyamide are used in the textile industry. Polyethylene and polystyrene polymers are predominantly used in the packaging industry. Over the last 4 years, microplastics and microfibers in sea-derived salt have been found in China, Spain, Turkey, UK, France, US, as well as in 17 brands of salt from Australia, France, Iran, Japan, Malaysia, New Zealand, Portugal, and South Africa that were brought from a Malaysian market. The number of microplastic particles found in Indian salts were similar to that in salts from Spain and Turkey, but lower than those in China. To prevent or reduce the transfer of microplastics into sea salt, the researchers demonstrated what they described as simple sand filtration of artificially contaminated seawater. For several of the largest tea brands on the market, heat resistance polypropylene fibers are incorporated into tea bags during the manufacturing process to help seal them for subsequent transport. Those brands claiming to be plastic free use Soilon, a type of plastic made from polylactic acid, which can be put into your commercial compost bin. However, even there may come in a box with an inner plastic bag. Plastic could be hidden in two places in tea bags. The bags themselves may contain a small amount of plastic that's added to help them keep their shape in boiling water. Unfortunately, that handy bag is also the biggest source of the problem, as researchers at McGill University in Montreal discovered. They found that steeping a plastic tea bag in water heated to 203 degrees Fahrenheit, that means 95 degrees Celsius, released around 11.6 billion microplastics into a single cup, according to New Scientist. In addition, the wrappers for individually wrapped tea bags may also contain a plastic lining. What can you do? Purchase loose tea leaf tea and use a reusable tea infuser, which will eliminate the plastic waste and a lot of the paper waste too. Or look for tea bags that aren't made with plastic. Certain brands do produce tea bags which are sealed without the use of plastic, using cotton thread, for example, and these are fully compostable. Disposable wipes. One-time use disposable wipes are so convenient. Baby wipes, personal hygiene wipes, antibacterial wipes, makeup removing wipes. There are many types. They often come packaged in plastic, which is a problem itself. But at least those packages can be recycled. But did you know the most disposable wipes contain plastic? Wet wipes are usually made by weaving together cotton and polyester. Adding polyester makes the wipe stronger, but it means the wipes are not fully biodegradable. Wet wipes are of particular concern due to the sheer number of them that are flushed down the toilet. A lot of people think that flushing wet wipes is no different than flushing toilet paper, but the truth is that wipes should never be flushed down the toilet. Not only does it result in tons of extra plastic waste entering the ocean, but wet wipes are also the number one reason that drains the sewers become blocked. Wipes contain plastic fibers that aren't generally biodegradable. According to The Guardian, those that get flushed clog up our sewers and create fatbergs. Giant chunks of wipes and diapers held together by fats like bacon grease that gets dumped down the drain. Wipes that end up in the ocean can be mistaken for food by turtles. These convenient wipes are turning out to be majorly inconvenient to the environment. What can you do? Only use disposable wipes when absolutely necessary. Inconvenience yourself. Use rags to clean surfaces instead of antibacterial wipes and wash the rag after one use. Take your makeup off with a washcloth. And then when you do use disposable wipes, never flush them down the toilet. Cigarette butts. It's a common misconception that cigarette butts are made solely of cotton. In fact, they contain cellulose acetate, the same kind of plastic that is used to make sunglasses, textiles, photographic film, and much more. Cigarette butts are the most common type of litter in the world. An estimated 4.5 trillion cigarette butts are littered around the world each year. Collected together, they would weigh as much as 1,50,000 elephants. Just imagine that. When people toss their butts on the ground instead of disposing them responsibly, they end up in waterways. It's strange that so many people still find it acceptable to throw cigarette butts, which is why they are the most pervasive man-made pollutant. Yet it takes just one cigarette butt to contaminate a gallon of water. Part of that contamination comes from plastic which is used in the filter. What can you do? It would be easy to simply say quit smoking, but there are very few smokers who don't realize that they should quit for their own health, let alone the health of the planet. If you do smoke, don't throw your butts on the ground or in the water. Dispose of them in the trash or in a safe cigarette receptacle. Chewing gum. This one comes as a shock to the most. You wouldn't expect chewing gum, of all things, to contain plastic, but most gum does. Gum manufacturers don't typically disclose their ingredients, not just to hide the fact that they are plastic, but because many gum bases are protected trade secrets. Therefore, they can use non-specific terms as gum base, making it hard for consumers to know exactly what's in their chewing gum. Even so, most gum bases contain polyethylene, the same plastic that makes plastic bottles and shopping bags. Some also contain polyisobutylene, which is the rubber used to make the inner tubes of tires. Delightful, I'm sure you will agree. Of course, it wasn't like this always. Chewing gum was made without plastic up until around the 1960s, at which point it became more economical to use more synthetic ingredients. What can you do? From what I have read, I believe that all the main gum brands use plastic and rubbers in their gum production. And I haven't been able to find a single gum that is free from plastic and also comes in plastic free packaging. Instead, I found three brands which are only available on Amazon that I believe to be free from plastic but come in plastic packaging. They are Chickza, Spree, and Zilichew. You can try them if giving up gum isn't for you. Otherwise, you can always try these mouth fresheners which are natural, like this here cardamom mint leaves. In short, it seems we can't get away from plastic. It's literally everywhere we look. But we can reduce our use of plastic and especially our consumption of it. And if we absolutely must use it, make sure it's recyclable. So, brew your own tea, buy a glass bottled soda, switch to natural meats, and if you see plastic lying near or on the beach, pick it up. The fish that eat it could end up as your next meal. Thank you all for watching.